allegiance to the flag. This is the regular council meeting of the village of Armada, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, first of all, we're going to have roll call.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Cronin.
Here.
Wallach.
Here.
Allard.
Here.
Sleds.
Here.
Belkey.
Here.
Next is the approval of the agenda. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Any further discussion, please? If not, all in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Next is the citizen comments. Anyone who would like to address the audience and from the audience? Okay, you're gonna pass, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine, thanks, Carol. Next will be presentations. We don't have it. So we're gonna move on to administrative reports. Mr. Clark, do you have a B report?
If we don't have it.
Yes, we don't have, because Scott gave me a call.
I just noticed.
Scott gave me a call this morning. He was under the weather, so he doesn't have the report done. He said he will try and get it in here tomorrow. As far as I know, everything is running the way it should. We've been doing land application of the sludge for the last couple days. I think that is all set. The sidewalk has been installed next to the Colonial Lift Station. There's still a little bit of soil work to be done and grass seeding to be done. But other than that, I think we're all set.
Lift station looks a lot better than it used to though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, with the new hatch and then the vent is away from the sidewalk, it's closer to the street, so.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Treasurer's report is in your packet. Do you have any questions of our treasurer? If not, liaison reports at this time. Yeah, Ross.
Okay, I've got several things. First on water, I met with Rowe, representative from Rowe tonight along with Ed on the arsenic containment analysis activity that we've got going on. Off to a good start. I think there's some good viable options. We estimate about 6-week turnaround until we get a report from them on what we could potentially do to reduce the amount of arsenic that's going downstream to the wastewater treatment plant. So off to a good start there. Got a sesquicentennial meeting tomorrow night. It'll be here, it's on the calendar. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, fairly good audience. We've got a number of representatives from the business community that are participating, a couple residents, and probably most notably is that the Fair Board's got a committee now that they've put into the mix. So Ken Goike was here. A lot of great ideas, and they're volunteering some support to that activity.
Question, Ross, on that?
I'm sorry?
On that, do you have a committee of so many people or just whoever?
It's just an open meeting, working group for people that are interested. I do have a list of participants that have come to the meetings that I can share. I'll put that out maybe at the next meeting. I got to get that together. I've got a couple sheets of names, addresses, and so on in my bag. So we'll get the names out. I don't necessarily want to give out phone numbers and stuff like that, but I do have it. So we'll get that out.
If you're interested, I had a resident, she belongs to Ancestry, so she got the 1870 census, which shows who's in the village. So it's like 14 pages of that, and she
Awesome.
copied it off for me.
Awesome.
unfortunately, a lot of it's light, so it's gonna be a little difficult, but she was gonna go, she's really interested in doing this for you, but she went over to the township to look at the plat map from 1869 to see like who's still here, like according to this list and who lived where. And if you're okay with that, she can just run with it, and then I don't know if you can make some kind of presentation of it.
Yeah, one of the things we're looking to do is, in addition to giving the businesses an opportunity to do stuff, we're trying to get together some subject matter experts in different areas in the village. You know, something that's been asked about is, hey, can somebody talk about the Armada airline, the railroad that used to be down there? I'm encouraging the fair board to have somebody talk about the genesis of the fair. The Agricultural Mechanics Society from the late 1869, 70, that time frame, it became the genesis of the fair board and so on. So I would love to take a name and
Okay,
get the information.
I have the information, I just didn't drive the car that it's in,
Yeah,
so.
I'm looking forward to a good turnout tomorrow. These are people that are interested in promoting the village and what we have to offer, so I think it's awesome to see them involved in it. I had something I was going to ask to get put on the agenda, but when I was going through this today, I noticed that Church of the Nazarene also didn't get something in on time, and so I can't good conscience bring it up. At some point, though, I got to talk to council about some sesquicentennial funding for some of the things that was in the note that you guys got. For some reason, I keep thinking that Michelle's cut off. It's Thursday at 12, it's Wednesday at 12. Maybe I ask Sam, Sam says it's Monday at 12. So
Sweet, Sam.
Sam put me in my place, and so hopefully no disrespect meant on this thing. I just, I don't know why it never occurred to me. So I was thinking it was a day later. In any case, I have put in for a couple grants for the some of the focal activities that we're going to do. I am asking for some donations. I've got a few people that have offered potentially some money to support. At the end of it, it'd be nice to have the village put a little bit of skin in the game. So we'll talk about this at the next meeting. And what's most important to me is to get some advertising out. So
By now, you should be able to put some kind of budget together.
yeah.
Now, are you gonna have, I picture a lot of this being like Armageddon was, and it doesn't mean, this is what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have like vendors or not? You know, are there gonna be people selling stuff in the street?
Yeah, we're looking at a 2-day street fair, street festival. We've got a representative from ADA and a representative from the chamber working together, which is a great thing, working together to pull on their vendor lists of people that are going to be downtown aren't necessarily from the village, but we would like to give people in the village businesses and the township businesses the max opportunity. But they got some people that are outside of the general area that they may pull in. Bottom line is they've got lists of vendors to draw on, right?
And you're charging these vendors?
We're not charging the vendors.
Well, you know, that Armageddon did, that's how they helped finance what they did.
Right.
Why wouldn't you charge, especially if they're from out of town?
Well, I guess we can look at that. The question that had come up was by people working the street fair was the thought that they should charge everybody or have people put a deposit down to guarantee they were going to show up on the days and then refund it. Right, that's the issue that was put on the table that I was asking about. So it was not to keep any money. We'll explore that a little bit more tomorrow. We'll see what people are interested in doing. Again, part of the discussion has been that this is a village event, and so we should make maximum opportunity to people in the village to attend and for the village businesses to participate at no cost. But we can explore it.
But the people coming from outside setting up booths, I think they should pay a fee. That should go towards the charging, you know. Now, if you got the non-profits like the Boy Scouts or AMVETS or Lions something there, no, I'm for not charging them.
Right.
People are coming from the outside to set up a booth so they can earn money, which I don't have anything against. I'd like to have them
Right.
share in the costs.
Yeah, no, that's certainly reasonable. We wanted to make sure that we had significant booths or tables set up downtown so that it helped to provide a draw. So.
Well, in other words, they would probably bring their own tables or little tents or something anyhow.
They bring, they
Long
gotta be
As
self-contained.
long as that space is there, Ross,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like Dave says, I think they should pay. Our own residents, you know, I mean, we can give them a break till so much, possibly, but that's up to what you come up with too.
Right, we'll explore it. I mean, it's not unreasonable. We want to give the village businesses and township businesses the first crack at space. But it makes sense that if there's an opportunity to charge something for outside businesses, and a lot of these guys are local crafters, right? But it's a good issue to talk tomorrow in some detail. We haven't done
The
that.
non-profits, they serve our community.
Right,
Say the Lions have a booth.
right.
I don't care about charging them. They serve this community
Yeah.
well, and so do the AMVETS and, you know, like scouting or ball leagues, those are all our, but if you're just there to make money, which is, there's nothing wrong with that,
Right.
you should share in the cost.
What about t-shirts, Ross? Have you thought about selling t-shirts? Hats?
I've talked to the
API?
API, don't know, I can't remember those guys. I've talked to them about it, I need to swing back there, and suggested to those guys that they may want to consider doing this. I mean, it's their risk, their potential loss, but they could, you know, they could reap whatever the profits are on that.
Because I told you that I was gonna speak to, New Baltimore did their sesquicentennial last year, so I talked to the clerk and asked her, I said, what was the biggest draw you had? Like, what was the best thing you did? And she said the t-shirts were a big seller, but they also did a picnic. And she said they advance charged for the box lunches, and they set up, you know, picnic tables down, you know, were in their area, and charged people for those, you know, a box lunch of some kind. You know, but you know, she said that was a huge moneymaker. Like they maybe say it like that, but I mean that did bring in some money. You know,
Well, I
her
think
DDA did.
Yeah, I think
so.
we're looking at the
Kinda apples and
opportunity to
oranges,
defer
but-
some of the costs. You know, in this thing, you know, it's additional police. I've got to get down and talk to the fire department and the EMS guys. It's DPW to set up barricades, take down barricades, it's porta potties, it's advertising. We're working on maybe a free cake or free pie or something like that. We're working on that right now.
So if
So,
you could advance sell tickets like for something like that, or for T-shirts or something like that, you know, it might bring in a little bit of money.
Do you have any funds on hand right now? Have you
Uh,
collected any funds?
I have not collected any
Has
money.
anybody on your committee collected any funds?
No.
Okay, as soon as they do, I need to know.
Right. Yeah, no,
In other words, when Joe asked that, I'm under the impression maybe that money should be turned into our village, so we don't get into trouble with our audit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked
Oh, yeah.
on that.
yeah, yeah. So I gotta, in the intervening 3 weeks, just getting a little bit nervous, because it's 22, or 12 August is 3 weeks away, but, I'm gonna talk to Joe in the interim though, and, see how we set up a repository for whatever funds might come in, donations, charges for booths, whatever we do, so that she's got control of it. As she's indicated, it is a village event, so we need to do that.
So we need a budget from your committee.
You know, Ross, now this, I don't know how anybody else feels, but when we've had other events in the community, like the parade, Christmas parade, like we
Right.
made again, you know, we did the police coverage, the DPW coverage,
Right.
and that's what I'm thinking is our skins in the game. I'm not looking for much, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm not looking for a lot of money out of the treasury for it.
Right.
That's good.
But I do,
Well, that's-
myself,
yeah.
I do feel we, like the police and the DPW,
We don't-
you know,
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know how much overtime's gonna be incurred. I've already talked with the chief a little bit about it. So what I'm mostly concerned about is overtime, or anything off the clock that these guys have to come in and do. So that's the,
Well, that's what they're saying.
yeah,
In the past and other events, the village has taken care of that.
okay, no, that's great.
I'm not looking to
So we're
buy
not gonna charge-
radio time or
Right.
TV time,
Right.
maybe Channel 6.
That's
Right.
Channel, good Channel 6.
Yeah, you know, ads, sports, I think those are the kind of things you get.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Sponsorship for it.
no, so it's great to hear that we would absorb the cost of policing or DPW. So,
I didn't say we would, I just said I think I'm in favor of it. I don't want to speak for anybody
I'll
else.
say thank you in advance.
Yeah.
Because I agree, that's something that the village
We've always
could
done
pick
that.
up.
Yeah, that's the skin in the game that I'm looking for. So, if that's something that we can discuss at the next meeting in a little bit of detail, that's great, right? And I am trying to work up a budget at this time. The near-term concern was paying for these principal activities, these 2 bands we're looking for, so the grant's in for that. And I should know by the end of the month. So by the time the next meeting rolls around, that will have either made it or broken it, right? Because I don't think we could go forward much without these 2 feature events is what I'm calling them. The anchor event is the street fair to pull people in. The 2 feature events are these 2 bands and then a parade that we would work. So, we're not paying anything for the floats. It's dress up, bring your old car, bring your old tractor, that type of thing.
What bands you talking about?
We've looked at 2 old-time bands to provide entertainment on both days. And so that's what the grant's in for.
Good, that's what these vendors and that do.
Well, I think the
Offset.
grant will cover it, you know, keep our fingers
Oh, that'd be
crossed that we
good.
win, you know, we get something on those, so. Okay,
Well, that's where it also comes, I'd like to state too, Ross, the fact is, like the Fair Board, for instance, they have made donations to different societies. They've contributed to the village tremendously over the number of
Yeah.
years. In other
Yeah.
words, with all my years here living in Armada, they contribute to different societies, you know, and groups as such. So the thing is that they will probably not refuse. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
in essence, the more we get, more the merrier.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so anything we do, I'm going to continue to ask for. And just like the streets, the streets are very important to me. I came in here that the streets were important to me. And the thing is that I want to get these local streets done after we get our main street done, see?
Yeah.
So everybody heard me say that, I don't want to reiterate it.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I don't think there's any argument that
No.
there are certain priorities in the village and the Centennial may not be the top priority.
So I think we've actually covered enough of this now. Anything, last comment or so? Do you have any questions?
No. No, we're good.
Okay, good. Let's move on there, please.
Thanks, Ross.
We're gonna go to general business. Consent agenda approval of the regular council meeting minutes of July the 8th of 2019 and the payment of bills. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
By Clark. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor? Motion carried. Old business. Next is a sewer plant update.
I think I got everything covered earlier, so I think I'm all set there.
You're all set, Steve, thank you. West Main Street, update, Mr. Ballard's department, street administrator, please.
I talked with Lisa, our engineer down there. Today they were doing the grading, and tomorrow, asphalt. That's on the agenda.
Good, okay.
And if I can add, she wants it known that any of the people that live down there, please do not put dirt on or drive on any of the new road, because there's gonna be various lifts of asphalt put on. And if that dirt gets ground in, and then when you go to put the next layer on, it doesn't wanna stick. So please stay off of it and just we just gotta wait a little bit longer and we'll be all set.
Have they notified the residents of that? last flyer that
I
went
know
out said
she'll
that
be
was the
down
last
there, and any of the
correspondence.
construction workers, they won't be letting people, but
No.
I just wanted to mention it out there. It'll probably be too late to be aired,
Yeah.
it'll be after the fact anyway.
Sure.
Well, yeah, because the last thing they put out said there will be no more.
Well, they did
door to
have
door.
people walking through wet concrete on sidewalks,
Oh, jeez.
but
Okay.
even the things marked and,
Okay.
Well, if they can adhere to that, just for a
get it
few
done.
days, so we get a very good job done, that's our interest, right? Thank you. Lyle, did you have anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, new business, the agreement between the Village of Armada and the Armada Agricultural Society regulating discharges to the publicly owned sanitary sewer system. Then the Church of the Nazarene request to place a sign near the 4 welcome signs, which is at the end of each direction of the village.
as far as the fair agreement, I did, probably a couple months ago, gave information to F&B to see if they thought any changes needed to be done. They said they didn't think any changes needed to be done, so it was typed up with the new dates and everything. I took it to the fair office last month, and I see it has been signed, and we'll move on. I will resolve to receive the signed agreement from the Armada Agricultural Society for a term ending February 28, 2022, and to allow the village president and clerk to sign on behalf of the village.
Support.
I'm gonna give it to
I
Russ.
said, Danny Ross came in just 1 second ahead.
All right, then moving and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye, motion carried. Next is the Church of the Nazarene request. Did we get a form back from them stating size? I can't remember. if I
They,
saw it.
you know what, all I had was this letter. They turned this in a couple months ago. Well, back in June, sorry, a month ago. I had Jeff look at it. You know, the problem that we have with the Welcome to Armada signs is that they are on private property. We do not own the property that they are on. So, Jeff created this revocable license for placement of signage, which we're gonna adhere to for anybody in the future that wants to do that too. They just have to be aware that if the landowner wants to remove those signs, they're gone. What the Church of the Nazarene wants to do is the Assembly of God currently has signs down there. The Assembly of God is no longer here. So they want to remove that sign and replace it with their sign. So I assume it's going to be the same size, but they have to
Cheryl says in the letter that they'll be
comparable. She's got to send it into their, not the diocese or, you know, what the church, their higher ups. And they need to tell them what needs to be on it and how it needs to be done. But this is their first step, is getting approval from us. And then they can go forward, and then they'll bring, she says in here that she'll bring it back once they know. So
So in other words, I would suggest tabling this matter, till the future then. So we know exactly what size the sign is, so that we can make a real good judgment on it.
Okay, I don't know that they can do that without our approval. I mean, I can ask her, we can put it off for till the next meeting,
Next
if that's what you'd like to do.
I would like to do that.
You know, one of the things that Jeff wanted made very clear is, once you give permission to any church, you have to open up to all faiths. You cannot say no to any. And when the Assembly of God sign went up, it was under ACTA still. So we just kind of inherited these signs and the signs that were there. The school did put up, the Fighting Tide put up one, they never came to us at all. So that one went up without our knowledge.
You know, I was wondering about.
Well, and, you know, but then again, we were in a quandary
It's
because
on private
at
property.
that point in time, we didn't, you know,
I don't see how we can even give approval.
it's not really giving, it's giving approval under this. So, I mean, if you guys aren't comfortable yet, please read through this.
I'm comfortable.
It's
And
like telling Ross you can go and put a sign on Michelle's property.
I don't feel
Oh,
it's like
right.
telling them. I
Yeah.
don't feel it's like
No.
telling them. Because
We don't
you're
own
using
it.
the same spot on the sign that exists.
But the
Yeah,
covenant
but
that
that-
those went in on was under ACTA. ACTA no longer exists. The only thing that exists between those four corners are the property owners that own that property.
Yeah.
So how do we give approval to say, go ahead and put a sign
maybe
on
we
that
need to
property?
contact
Probably
the
contact
property
them.
owners and contact them
Yeah.
and see how they feel about it and.
I guess
Well,
that's certainly you know, that'd be the probably
We
the
can do
best way to
it.
do it.
I mean,
is
it's not,
contact
I
the
don't think
property
it's
owner.
worth it for the village to attempt to, you know, buy these pieces of property.
No,
It's, you know, I
I
mean,
think the property owners need to be involved.
Yeah,
Because
that's.
some of the signage areas are better taken care of than others as
well,
far
and that,
as
see,
trimming.
this is what
shrubs.
started this was a couple of years ago because Sarah Schaefer had asked if she could go and clean it up and I'm like, we don't know them. So then it became a problem. So and that was after council had given approval, because, you know, nobody really even thought about that. I mean, we inherited it from ACTA, but we don't own the property. So, you know, I guess these are questions that we should have for the property owners and just say, are you comfortable with people coming onto your property and weeding? Are you comfortable with the signs going up? Are you comfortable with leaving them? You
I
know?
think it's assumed, to be honest, because ACTA never made any resolutions to turn those signs.
Oh, I thought you said they did. Oh, well then I have no idea. I don't know how we got.
I would
Then
think
I
it
guess
would be
the
the
people
logical
who
next
live,
step.
who own that property own them signs, we don't own them.
Mr. President, in reading this, the suggested action, it says resolve to approve the revocable license for placement of signs and authorize the president and clerk to sign on behalf of the village. You're not telling them that they can go ahead and do it, we're just approving this document by that motion.
But it's our document.
Right, but,
I mean,
you know, we're approving this document.
Well, the document, like Joe said too, if it's not our property, why should we approve anything?
right. And this is, you know, this has been something that's just been on the
It's not
back.
ours.
Yeah.
But really, I think
I
the
would
thing
say
is,
contact the property owner yourself.
Yeah, I think we should contact.
Well, I think, all right, how about we do this? We'll bring it back to the next meeting because Jeff will be here. He's way more knowledgeable on this. He and I have been talking about this for a couple of years, but when nothing comes up, it doesn't get thought about. I mean, I hate to say that, but nobody had brought it up. Now this letter comes in, it's like, well, great, here we go again. Now we're at a problem.
the thing
So-
is, we're not refusing, you know, if we have to do it or we can do it.
Just trying to find out a means of doing it correctly.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm thinking that probably for the village to contact the property owners would be the wisest.
Yeah.
I think.
And
we
ask if they are still willing to let those four corners be under the jurisdiction of the village. That way we can regulate the size of the signs. You don't want somebody going in there with an 8-foot sign.
Well, unless somebody just goes and puts one up.
Yeah, or people just go and pick up any kind of sign they want.
Well, then the property owner can take it down. So, but,
Well, like Joe's saying though, if we get their permission for it to be under the jurisdiction of the village, then it would be up to us to take it.
Yeah.
Right. So
But-
we're not
But again,
refusing.
they should get that permission, I think.
We're not refusing.
I don't have a problem with
And then
that.
we'll get letters from each of the property owners. and-
We'll write up an agreement of some kind with them. Okay, all right, I'm fine with that, but we'll talk about it at the next meeting, maybe, you know, Jeff will have more insight than I do.
Do you have to have a motion to table this?
I don't, I mean, if you want to, you can, I mean,
Well, I think we can just do it.
Okay.
We'll table it.
you don't want, you're not required a motion?
Well,
If you want to make one, second.
why don't you go ahead and do it then?
Okay. I'll also move that we table this
Request.
request until our next regular council meeting. Support.
So that's started. Any further discussion?
So you'll come back with the list of the property owners, or are you going to already speak to the property owners before the next meeting?
Probably we will talk, Michelle and I will talk to Jeff in between
Yeah.
and see how he wants us to
Okay.
proceed.
Because maybe we'll have, you know, something in place by then and we can just move forward. But, you know, like I said, when I talked to Jeff about it, this was the best thing that he, you know, in other municipalities probably use something similar. That was what he came up with. But, you know, I don't have a problem with talking to the property owners. I think
I was
that's probably.
comfortable knowing that they were on board with the village and let us regulate what goes up there.
Well, and, you know,
sizes and-
I don't want to ever give somebody permission to do something and what if they get hurt? You know, it's like, I don't want the homeowner to get, you know, sued because they're doing something that they think is on behalf of the village.
Well, I mean, it's hearsay on my part, but I heard across from the cemetery out here on Oak Ridge, I heard that the Assembly of God Church bought that. How true it is, I do not know 100%. So if they did, that means that they probably won't be coming back into the village. But the thing is, if they do come back in the village and their sign has been taken off, you know, that's something to be considered too.
I believe the woman that sent the letter was on the board of the Assembly of God Church.
Yeah,
I
sure.
think,
I'm sure it was, that's what it
Yeah, I
is.
believe that's what it says. So I think that that's why she said, and if it's not within the village limits, I'm not interested in signs going up that aren't within the village limits. I mean, with the business or the, you know,
Okay.
nonprofit.
Fine,
One,
thank you.
one is on Fairboard property, isn't it?
That's Mr.
Now,
That's
I don't think it's us.
it's not, I don't think it's on us.
I don't think it's on us.
Kathy Denowitz.
Yeah, it's Kathy Denowitz.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because it's on the other side of that.
yep.
And the other one is just outside the village.
That's
too,
the-
that's,
Yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
that's not great.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if there's a
Jennifer,
problem, some of them
Well,
could probably
this
get
one
moved.
would have been, oh, shoot, what's his name? Craig, not Craig. Yeah, lived in the corner house. He's your neighbor. I'm sorry, I should know your neighbor, that's not good. Yeah, and then,
not on Pearl.
Nancy was his mother.
yeah, it'll come to me later when
We'll
it's
pass, it's not
irrelevant.
important.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, so that's all we'll do.
Yep, yep.
The next coming agenda items, council having,
Mr. President,
Go ahead, no.
I gotta come back and give a detailed update on sesquicentennial planning to date. As I said earlier, by that time, we should know whether or not we got the grants. That's a significant waypoint in all of this planning. So I think that the 12th would be a good opportunity to do that. By then, I'll have talked to the fire department, the EMT guys, and I'll have a better idea on potential financial support for advertising and stuff like that. So I'm going to come back on the 12th and give you guys an update. I'll stick in everybody's box here a list of the people that have been participating on in the planning, such as the meeting tomorrow. You're all welcome to come if you want to.
Where is it? Right here. Oh,
Right here at 6:30.
I'm glad you're doing it on a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Carl's Tuesday.
Oh,
Is it
Wednesday.
Wednesday? You can't do it on Wednesdays. Wednesday's concerts in the park.
I know. They have planning. They have planning.
Yeah, that's why I can't make them.
That's when everybody is available though, so.
Yeah.
I gotta do it. So I apologize, yeah,
They
it's
should all
Wednesday.
be at concerts in the park, right?
Wednesday the
We have a
24th.
meeting at the concert in the park.
I could do
It's
that.
gonna be a good one.
Okay, that's
It's
sufficient.
there every single
All
time.
right, so it's not, your meeting isn't tomorrow,
It's
it's
the
Wednesday.
24th.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday the 24th.
Okay.
Okay. So, any citizen comments at this time?
Oh, Steve, did you have something?
Yeah, no, sorry. No.
All right. No citizen comments, any other council comments?
Yeah, just a couple. Who's in charge of the porta potty contract? I just want to talk. Is it, we've got it, is it with Parks? You guys have a porta potty contract?
We
Yeah,
hire
porta potty.
them, but yeah, we hire them, but I don't know that we have I don't know if it's called a contract.
Okay, I just wanted to talk to somebody, to Dave's point, you know, gotta get an idea what some of this stuff costs, and I've been meaning to
Becky
get.
can give you that, give you the
Okay.
information.
That's
And
good.
check,
How much you
and
pay.
maybe check with Foster's.
Sam should have that information too,
Over there.
because she
I
used them
know
at the park.
Long ago, with the active parades and stuff, we used to put porta potties next to Sunrise over there. So so I don't know where
Okay.
else you would.
Okay,
Of course, we have a couple of municipal parking lots, maybe the area
Right.
that get roped off.
right.
Like Joe said, Sam should know too, she should be able to give us some insight.
Yeah.
There you
Go
go, you
figure.
see her.
I just started asking her clerk questions too. And so Dave, you had asked a while back, who has a water treatment plant similar to our design? And then there's a corollary question is, just because you got a plant that's designed like ours doesn't mean it uses the
I
same.
mean, the arsenic treatment, you know, that has the same.
Right, so there's the media question.
Yeah.
So, just gonna whip them off, because I asked that question tonight of the row folks. So Holly, Caro, Oxford Township, K-Pac, and then I guess there's a significant number of thumb communities that have plants designed similar to ours, not necessarily the same, but designed, similar design, small communities, right? And then Byron, Linden, and I guess a lot of mobile home communities, because they're small villages if you think about it, use the G2 media that we use. So there are other plants like ours, and there are other facilities like ours that use the media we have, and then there's other media that they use. So the engineering is a little different based upon the type of media they use, back flushing, so on and so on. But this is kind of our laundry list. I'm gonna not worry about the thumb communities, at least we got some in the lower peninsula we can go take a look at or talk to.
Thank you, Russ.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
all.
that's good, good, thank you. Any other community events?
Just the concert in the park Wednesday,
Don't forget the concert in the park.
Wayward Wind, they've been around for 40 years,
That's
And they're
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Okay, we don't have a closed session tonight, and I'm going to entertain a motion right now for adjournment.
The time is 7:38. I move to adjourn.
Second.
By Bill.
That's all Lyle cock and get ready.
So the motion and support is there. What is the council's wishes?
That you announce it's adjourned?
No, they didn't.
Aye.
Yeah.
Take a vote?
Okay.
They want to stay.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
All in favor?